Shall we start? This page has been describing the interplay of he and she. I hope you guess what they are or who they are.
Yes.
Yes?
Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Mother and Sri Aurobindo.
Well,
Shiva
basically,
Shakti.
yes, but in the imagery, she is the force that has plunged into the darkness, that fights the darkness and evolves. That is why she has involved herself in the darkness. Out of that involution, gradually the evolution starts. And she climbs up, carrying with her the burden of darkness towards the light, slowly making the transformation possible. He is the one who knows who is there, the consciousness. She is the doer, so she is the one who is taking part in the play. He is the one who seems to be the author of the play, if you like it. Ever he repeats, in objects wrought, in the persons she conceives, dreaming she chases her idea of him. It's as if she has to first conceive and then manifest that perfection in the world of matter, objects, in the world of form and shape, where there is a great deal of resistance, inertia. It doesn't accept to be molded so easily. But her idea of him is that perfection, to manifest consciousness in matter.
You know, it makes me feel like the mother who is pregnant.
Yes.
She's actually giving
She's
form.
giving birth. She's giving birth. Here and there, now and then, something of that possibility of perfection manifests itself in matter also. So you have, for instance, the curve of a petal or the sound of a bird song. And that is already a suggestion that something more subtle, more fine, more perfect is already hidden in that which seems to be not matter. That seems to be resistant matter. Therefore, ever he repeats in them his ceaseless births. He is his consciousness. The consciousness is present everywhere. And he hides. And she has to really manifest, bring out that form. He is the maker and the world he made. He is the vision and he is the seer. He is himself the actor and the act, because all is he. She is also he. She cannot exist without him. He is himself the knower and the known. He is himself the dreamer and the dream. First the dream, and then the expression of that dream in a form. And that, to a certain extent, is also what in our external world sometimes manifests itself as art. There are two who are one and play in many worlds. In knowledge and ignorance, they have spoken and met. Even in ignorance, he is there. He is hiding. But he knows she will bring him out of that. So it is an interplay of the Lord and his force. The image of the, you might say, hide and seek, the Leela that is often mentioned in the Indian context. The Lord hides and the seeker, the soul, the worker has to discover the presence of the Lord. You have the Krishna Leela and all that. And light and darkness, otherwise interchange. That means darkness also is he. There is no fundamental darkness. It's part of the play. Our pleasure and pain are their wrestle and embrace. It is this struggle for consciousness, for perfection, for beauty. In the world of matter, beauty manifests that divinity. It's a struggle, and therefore there is pain. But without pain there can be no new manifestation. The old has to break, and so we mustn't think that we have to escape or run away from pain. We have to make use of it and understand that something has to be cast away and something else a new manifestation has to take its place. So pleasure and pain are their wrestle, because pain, that is that resistance, will be true to its nature. Its nature is to resist. So it will resist. And she will not give up. She is the Shakti. She will break down this resistance. So there is a wrestle. There is a battle. So inconscience is also a hidden consciousness. The inconscience will fight. She is the power of consciousness. She will bring out that divinity that is hidden. In all of us it is there. That presence is there in every cell of the body. In every cell of the body there is resistance. In every particle of manifestation there is the opposition. In every particle there is the possibility of a new existence. That is the whole mystery. Our deeds, our hopes are intimate to their tale. In our deeds there is failure, there is victory. The hope is really an attempt to express, to realize something that is not yet. So we move on to that which is a beautiful, more beautiful future. The fact that you can hope is the sign that there is a light inside that shines and guides you to that new future. It's not yet realized. We have a feeling that everything will be done by the divine. Everything will be done also by what seems to be the undivine inside us. The undivine will fight back. Only then will the darkness and inconscience accept to be surrendered. The asura has to surrender to the divine. Then only is the victory complete. That is part of the story. It's part of a drama. So it's not a smooth thing. It's not a continuous climb from lesser to the greater, but it's falling back again and again into the darkness. You climb back again, this time stronger than before and higher than before. And this is why Sri Aurobindo calls it a vertical spiral. It's not just a spiral, it's moving on the same level. That which goes up very high comes down very low. And then you take up all the elements that are below, slowly to lift them up again and purify and perfect everything that is a part of the manifestation. Our deeds, our hopes are intimate to their tale. They are married secretly in our thought and life. In our thought, yes, it's very obvious. When we think, we divide everything between light and darkness, truth and falsehood. So you say this is divine, this is undivine. We tend to make that permanent. This is good, this is bad. We don't see that unless the bad existed, our notion of good also could not have existed. Our notion of perfection could not have existed. We have to pass through the darkest tunnels to emerge into a brighter light. So this is the secret knowledge. At the very bottom of the inconscient, the force is present. The experience is had by the mother, the presence of the Lord who is asleep at the base of manifestation and creation. He seems to be asleep, but he's upholding everything. That is the whole legend. Without that sleeping Lord, the universe would collapse. Therefore, the universe is an endless masquerade. Everything is like a play. Everything is other than it seems. That's why it's a masquerade. It seems to be one thing, but actually it is another. We tend with our minds to jump to conclusions. And so in our life also we say, this is happy, that is unhappy, this is good, this is bad. This is the mental ego, the vital ignorance, all these that seem to follow certain very fixed rules. So he makes it very clear and puts it without any ornamentation. For nothing is utterly what it seems. There you are. Nothing is what it seems. So we have to never judge things from the outer manifestation, outer appearances. It is a dream fact, a vision of a truth. It is again a very complex image. The truth, everything is a truth, but everything is a dream fact, that is, it's not a substantiated manifestation. A dream has no substance. You have to have a dream, but you have to manifest it. So this universe is moving towards a manifestation, a realization, making real. Realization is to make real what is waiting to be manifested fully. It is there somewhere in the upper stratosphere, in some subtle world. Things are already there. The divine is always present. Even in the subtle physical, there is a certain imagery of perfection, because the perfect has no, in that subtle physical, there is no physical resistance. Physical inertia is not there. It is a dream fact, vision of a truth, which, but for the dream, would not be wholly true. You have to first have the dream. Only then can you express that reality. You know which path to follow. Mother's basic founding of the ashram, and from that what follows Auroville, is it's a dream. That dream existed already. It was there, present. It has to be put in the world of matter. And therefore it is a fact. The dream is a fact, but it's a vision. So we think truth is only that which is tangible, that which is material. Truth is all levels. The highest level of consciousness is called the truth consciousness. It's the supramental, where there is nothing but truth. There is no, it's a complete totality of the full expression of the consciousness. At every level, that consciousness seems to be a little reduced. It comes down, divided in the overmind, reduced in the mind slowly, but it is still there. Originally, the supramental presence is everywhere, even in the inconscient. It could not have existed. The inconscient cannot exist if the supermind is not present there. Everywhere the supramental is present. It is from there that all things have come. A phenomenon stands out significant against dim backgrounds of eternity. Phenomenon, a manifestation in the world of form, as opposed to the Greek word, if you like, noumenon. Noumenon is that which exists in the world of light, of the intellect or the truth, which is unsubstantial. Phenomenon is that which has substance. Against dim backgrounds of eternity, in the eternal there cannot, normally a technical way of looking at eternity, there cannot be fixed form. There can be no form in the eternal. It becomes, we create limits. The moment you have a form, you create limits. You have boundaries. But against that eternity, all things are as if founded on the eternal. Time is a projection out of the eternal. In the world of times, manifestations take place. They are born out of eternity, they go back to eternity. Even now, no, that is why Kala, which is time, is another name for death. It takes a shape, and then that shape is wiped off. But the truth remains, nothing goes away. Our attachment to reality is the outer form. When the outer form goes away, you say reality has gone. It has not gone. It goes nowhere, it can't go anywhere, it can only go back to that which it came from. It came from the eternal, it goes back to the eternal. As he says in one of his very beautiful, simple poems, from him we come, to him we go. Desire eternally. There is no other source. He wrote this poem to a very young girl, but It is this is the truth. We accept its face value. We take things at face value. And with our mental arrogance, we say this is how things are. Our mind has judged. And pass by all its means. Pass by means we neglect, we miss out on all the real truth. If you have a sharp mind, people are judged by the clarity and sharpness of their mind. Sometimes it is a drawback. The sharp mind makes very sharp definitions, clear outlines, misses out on all the, you might say, suggestions, suggestiveness of all the things that is not sharply etched out. That is, if you have reading Sri Aurobindo's writings on poetry, these are the overtones, the undertones. A word has one significance, but it has overtones. And that carries the value, which is why suggestion is one of the essential aspects of expression, poetry. It's called dhvani. It's not sound. It is the suggestiveness that is behind the sound. It is not the voice. It is, for instance, the consciousness in that voice. Every voice conveys a certain amount of consciousness. Some voices can be harsh, sweet if you like, but harsh. Some voices can be sharp. Some voices can be full of all kinds of possibilities, maybe psychic possibilities that are just fluttering in the distance. This is the whole play of manifestation. Things are never what they seem, whether it is in sight or sound or imagery or the senses, the physical senses. They tell you not only physical messages, they tell you something beyond the physical. And this is what makes the play so complex, so interesting. A part is seen, we take it for the whole. That is what we do. Thus have they made their play with us for roles. We are actors. We are consciousness and we are also energy. Author and actor with himself as seen. Probably here seen is, in the French sense, the stage. It's not only the play, maybe he is the stage also. Play on him. He is the field on which everything is played out. He moves there as the soul, as nature, she. The protagonist and the antagonist, the hero and the heroine, sometimes they have to clash before they can harmonize. So it is this play here on the earth where we must fill our parts. We know not how shall run the drama's course. Whether there will be a final, because it is not yet over, the play. You have to wait till the end. Or is there an end? That you have to ask the author. He is the eternal. He cannot end. His creation is therefore like him, it cannot end. And so there is that one of his poems which he wrote last. Is this the end? And the last line doesn't end with any punctuation mark, it doesn't have a full stop, it doesn't have a semicolon, and still there is no end. There is no end to anything. It's always a beginning. If there is a beginning, you say there is an end. It's a projection of the original, you might say, his creation. His creation, he has no beginning. And therefore, he can go on forever. But it is very difficult for us to accept it because we prefer ends. We have limited energy, and that when that limited energy is exhausted, we would like to have an end. Everything ends. So worlds are created, worlds are ended. Pralayas come, pralayas go. victories come, defeats come, and they go. Everything goes, and you say, now it's finished. This is the smallness of our capacity to hold on to reality. We can't hold on to anything that is too vast. We are small. Our uttered sentences veil in their thought. This is what I was talking about as Dhvani. You say something, what is meant behind the words. Even we ourselves do not know what is being projected through our words, our voice, the state of mind in which you speak, the state of consciousness in which you are. You may say one thing on a very ordinary surface level. You may say one thing and mean something very different. You may say yes and mean no. It's not necessarily when you say yes, you mean yes. And this on a very universal level is the whole play. Nothing is clear-cut, sharp. Why should it be? The infinite who plays infinitely in this game. Her mighty plan she holds back from our sight. She's the director of the play, she's working it out, and man is a traveler, an actor, a journeyman. He doesn't know where the journey will end. All he has to do is to accept to play his part. She has concealed her glory and her bliss and disguised the love and wisdom in her heart. Because often we feel she's making us pass through extremely difficult, painful experiences. But because of these, we can break out of our littleness. Our resistance, or you might say, inertia has to be shattered. So you have to tell the Lord, as he says it in one of his aphorisms, hit me hard. Unless you hit me, I will say you did not love me. Because you have to break down my ego, you have to break down my ignorance. The wall of my opposition has to go. So it is done out of love. Why does he do this to man? He expects man to become somebody else, man to become God. It is as the divine has not given that role to a tree or to a bird. He doesn't expect a bird to become something else. He doesn't expect a tree to become something else. But he has made it possible for man to be something else. Because all the world's possibilities are there in man. From the lowest to the highest. It is for us to decide which possibility we will take up and make our journey. The difficulty is the ego. That is what comes in the way all the time. It thinks it knows. It thinks it knows better than everybody else, even better than the divine. And so there were so many who kept on telling Sri Aurobindo, for you it is easy. What you're expecting us to do is easy for you because you are special, you're different, you're God. You don't know how difficult it is for us. And that is the main, you might say, knot of ignorance which we do not want to get rid of. Ignorance is the biggest opposition. As she has said it very clearly, there is no such thing as wrong. There is no such thing as evil. The only evil is ignorance. All stems from there. Because of that, there are twists, there are turns, perversities, errors, and the error doesn't know it is an error. The more ignorant you are, the surer you are of yourself. You don't even know you're plunged in darkness. The person who is plunged in darkness has never seen light. How does he know he's in the dark? He has never opened his eyes to the truth. She doesn't know what is truth. Of all the marvel and beauty that are here, only a darkened little we can feel. A little opening somewhere can make us respond to that presence. Sometimes. Because In every part of our existence, He is present. You cannot breathe if He were not there inside you. You cannot live if the soul were not there. You cannot exist if He was not really holding up your mind, life, body, everything. So, He too wears a diminished Godhead here. He comes down to our level. He expects, if only we could rise up to His level. We don't, to the divine level. So He says, okay, I will become a human being. This is the avatar. He comes down, accepts our smallness, and enters within the framework of our smallness and brings light in that small consciousness. Slowly from there, it burgeons, it grows, it flowers, it becomes a manifestation of something wonderful. He too wears a diminished Godhead here. He accepts to become small. He has forsaken His omnipotence. He has given up His omnipotence. He seems to have forsaken and you give up. That is why He did not. Even the avatar suffers. He dies. He is crucified. He is shot. He is put in jail. All these things. Why does He not use His spiritual power not to be part of the world of suffering? But if it was for that, then why would He come down? To remain different from man. He is like man. He becomes like us. He accepts to be like us, so that we can use Him as a guide, follow in His footsteps. If His footsteps are too large, then we can't follow. It's too difficult. That's why He has given up His omnipotence. His calm He has foregone, and infinity. He has accepted to break down. Infinity, His limits. He enters into the small, into that which is variable, in which that can break down, which is birth and death. He knows her only. That is, He follows the law of nature. Nature is the force that is at work, and He follows the force of nature. And if we read Sri Aurobindo on Himself, He says how slowly it is this nature that when He was very young, He was not physically very, you might say, energetic. But see how much strength, even physical strength, He acquired as time passed. This even in the body. He knows her only. He has forgotten Himself. To her He abandons all to make her great. He allows nature, the spiritual force, the power of evolution, in short, the mother. She has her means, her method. Gradually she makes us come out of our difficulties. Or she keeps us in the difficulties so that we are strengthened by the difficulty. We learn from the difficulty in which we find ourselves. We are strengthened by that. So He says, now, for a while you stay like this. It happens sometimes, those who have too easy a life often find it that they are not strong. Those who have gone through difficulties often learn to face enormous opposition. So her ways are different. She chooses the person according to his nature. She doesn't give the same, you might say, doesn't treat everybody exactly the same way, because this is a world of multiplicity, diversity. What you are is not what I am, and why should it be? Why create two people who are exactly the same? Might as well create only one. There's no need for multiplicity. The possibility of variety, of diversity. The one becomes the many, and the many is the each, and yet all are the one. In the end, to her He abandons all to make her great. He hopes in her to find Himself anew. Often that is what we find. In the world of life, in the world of mind and time, in the play of manifestation, you say, it is there that I will find my fulfillment. Man spends a lot of time making thinking that this earthly life will make me happy, this is where I get my ultimate fulfillment. The Supreme says, yes, take your time, make this mistake, be happy if you think, until you find that happiness is not exactly what you thought it was. What you believe happiness to be is not happiness, but first we have to get our heads knocked against the wall before you realize there is a wall. So we take wrong turnings, we make mistakes, and that is part of the training, part of the learning. And so he knows her only, he has forgotten himself. To her he abandons all to make her great. She is the leader, she is the guide, she is the mother, she is the force. She is the one who is the whole, you might say, beauty is, she is his force. She is the force. He says, you ask the mother all the questions that people wanted to find out. He would say, ask the mother. But the mother is his force. The mother is not separate from him. But her way of acting, her action, her method is not exactly his. So he would stand in the background. And this is the whole play. This is the play. One part is completely apparently quiet. One part is dynamic, active. In that dynamic manifestation, there are all kinds of openings, all kinds of possibilities, often chosen differently for different situations, for different times in the history of earth. There is no hard and fast rule. It's not the same law. It's a spiritual democracy, as Sri Aurobindo calls it. It's not the same truth for everybody. Incarnate, wedding his infinity's peace to her creative passion's ecstasy. Incarnate, to find himself anew incarnate in a body, to manifest that energy, that force of the divine in the embodied consciousness. This is man. This is the ultimate goal of man, to be an embodied consciousness, incarnate, wedding his infinite peace. They seem to be self-contradictory. The peace of infinity does not have a body. Infinity has no form, no limit, no beginning, no end. And yet it's an endless incarnation. This is the play of opposites. He loves that often. He does the interplay of mental contradictions to break us perhaps out of the habit of making this kind of mental reasoning. If you are this, how can you be that? If you are human, how can you be divine? How can you be finite if you are infinite? Well, that is exactly, the finite is the infinite. The human is the divine. Only we have to realize it. We are ignorant, we have to realize it. So she takes it up. She has all this work. It's a great deal of work she has. And yet, he is quietly waiting for her to do the work. Although possessor of the earth and heavens, he is the Lord, he is the supreme Lord of the universe. He leaves to her the cosmic management. She is the manager. She has to, the whole running of manifestation, as if the drama or the play or the creation, he has left it to her. Let her decide how things will run. And he sits in the background or in his room upstairs and witness of her scene. He watches the play quietly. Not only watches, almost as a supernumerary on her stage. A supernumerary is like an extra. And in a play, sometimes you have crowd scenes. They don't really have a very important role. They just are there for certain effect. You want to manifest a big crowd, you can't have 20 people on the stage, 3 should be enough. So he is like that, simply somebody who is not essential. But adds something to the general appearance of things. Because without consciousness, nothing can be. Without energy, nothing can manifest. Both have to be intertwined all the time. So he leaves all to her, the cosmic management, and watches all, the witness of her scene. A supernumerary on her stage, she is the active power. He speaks no words or hides behind the wings. But the play is his actually. But he doesn't impose himself.
That's not fair.
He hides behind the scenes. Yeah, well, it
She does
is.
everything.
She does everything. But she's making him do it.
But
Actually,
he has to hold the whole
he's,
stuff.
he's without, actually he's perhaps pulling the strings from behind.
Yes. But I'm happy that he has to have the strength to hold the whole
Well, he can't be if he has no strength.
It ties the whole thing together. It's Virat.
Virat.
He takes birth in her world. This is the vast infinite becomes his individual soul. And at stage by stage, step by step, he participates in the journey, birth to birth, from life to life. Waits on her will. Sometimes that life, you may say, why is mother making me suffer? We are not supposed to be told why she is making me suffer. Perhaps we have to find out. Something has to change in us, something has to open up in us. So the consciousness says, wait, find out. If you are going through pain, there must be a reason. He is going to use this pain for the opening of your nature, of your consciousness, of your developing your inner manifestation of the spirit. He divines, therefore, her enigmatas, gestures, sense. She makes external expressions. Gesture is an action, but also, in the old sense, a very difficult and mighty action, a great power. Gest, as the ancient says. All the great changes in man's journey was in the Western world called chansons de geste. They were all great acts of courage where you face, unless the difficulty were there, you would not develop the courage to fight it. So the difficulty has to be there. The enemy has to be there, otherwise you can't ever become a hero. So that is part of the play. So it's a very enigmatic thing. It's puzzling. We have to come out of that simplistic notion. If mother's blessing is there, everything is smooth for me. In fact, she has said it very clearly that this blessing is less there. If there are less problems in your life, she has left you to the ordinary state of consciousness. She makes things difficult for you, her blessing is more there, more present. So that is why the fluctuating chance turns of her mood works out her meanings. She seems not to know. Even nature doesn't understand why sometimes certain things happen, why suddenly certain epidemics come, why suddenly certain oppositions come. We don't seem to be able to figure out how all things have been worked out. She herself doesn't seem to know. It's like a river that has just gone into the sand and has disappeared into the sand. And serves her secret purpose a long time. So this is what she has been doing. She's working out in long time. We have to have an enormous patience. Infinite patience. If we are one with the infinite, there is the whole, one of the most important aspects, equanimity, patience, calm, endurance. Wait for her to work out things in her own way, in her own time. He is very, very patient. We are not, because our minds, our natures are narrow and small. We cannot contain so much patience. It's very difficult. Okay.